This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hello everybody, it is Wednesday the 16th of August, it is evening, it is party time, and it is time for a show about video games. It's Party Loaded. So we have a ton of stuff to talk about tonight, as per usual. It's what you come to expect from us every week, of course, let's be honest. But we've got people that we need to do that with, so as the usual goes, I'm going to interview our crew, and then we have someone else on for a special interview tonight. So first, Mimo, Ollie, Jam, hello, you three. Welcome back.
Hello.
Are you gonna be able to deal okay tonight? Because by popular demand, we've had a whole bunch of people say that apparently they want more Luke on the show, and this is how I'm reading between the lines anyway.
I monitored the mailbox. These claims never happened.
I'm inventing this narrative as we go. Anyway, so tonight, for the first time on Party Loaded, we have Mr. Luke Lancaster of ReadPop and PAX Oz fame. Welcome, Luke. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, other Luke.
Yes, absolutely. Holy shit, there's an echo.
It's like B1, B2.
So creepy.
No, we
You're
don't.
just lucky we're on opposite coasts.
That is true. We've got this country covered. We've got the Luke Quato filled. It's all good.
Oh dear.
Yeah. It's fortunate we don't sound particularly alike. I think that's probably going to make things a little bit easier. So that's all
We'll
good.
sync up by the end, it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely had that sinking feeling already. Cool. All right, so moving on.
Why?
So anyway, Luke's on the show tonight, so we can pick his brain about everything relating to PAX and also some interesting history of your own in the Australian sort of video game scene, as well as a couple of other bits and pieces. So I guess there's not too much point mucking about. Let's dig right in and actually talk about some fun stuff. So Luke, for the benefit of the rest of our audience who might not actually have gotten around to visiting PAX or keep up with the latest happenings, do you want to just give everyone a bit of an intro as to who the heck you are and what your background in gaming actually is all about? So take it away, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you mentioned, I'm on board with ReadPop and PAX Australia now. PAX is, if you haven't heard of it, a huge video game festival, convention, show,
The best.
conference. The best is a good way to do it, yeah. You want to feel this one?
Yeah.
It's in Melbourne once a year. It's part of the PAX brand, which is a big global brand, but it's the only Australian leg. It's just this massive 3 days of video games and panels and tabletop stuff and people just hanging out and embracing gaming, which is just the coolest weekend of the year, really. Mm-hmm. And lucky me, I've been in the job about a month. I get to work on that now. And I'm on board my titles content manager, which is a whole wanky thing that we don't really have to get into. But what it means is I get to make the stuff that people go there to see. So we're talking like, panels, helping curate the free play areas. People just go and, hang out, play games. We help get that set up. We run tournaments. We show off esports stuff. Oh, God. It's really hard to condense in a nutshell everything that happens at PAX because everything happens at PAX. It really does.
If you like games, it's home.
Yeah.
That's
the motto, right? It's like welcome home. And
exactly.
Yeah, there is that sense of community that is so important to PAX, and that's part of what I'm doing. Is like, you foster that, you grow that. That's me babbling, but that's what I'm here to do.
That's definitely what it feels like
really?
every year, though. It just feels like coming home. It's the best week of the year.
Yeah, we've gone just about every year. I mean, Jam and I have attended every PAX Australia, and I think Mimo and Ollie have only missed one. And I think even though we've been going for that amount of time, it still feels like we haven't covered the whole show. There's still lots of stones unturned. So yeah,
Especially last year. Oh my gosh.
I can tell you now we're even bigger this year, so you're going to have problems again.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Challenge accepted. Yeah,
See all the
absolutely.
things.
Yeah. So we should probably mention that, of course, about a year ago, we had your now colleague, Jug, on. So Guy Jug Blomberg, who has moved on to slightly larger things as far as the PAX scene is concerned, because he's now heading up the content management on a global scale. And you're now tackling the Australian end of things. So that's why you find yourself in the position you are now. So exciting times. Yeah. Absolutely.
So Yug's still very much involved with PAX Australia, but as you said, he stepped up to handle the PAX brand globally, because there's shows, there's West, East, South. We're starting a tabletop-only show this year, which is so... Can I swear? Is that cool?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
by all means.
Only if you mean it.
Well, I definitely mean it, because we have PAX Unplugged, which is a show dedicated to tabletop games, and that is so fucking cool.
We may have questions later, but anyway, go on.
No, I think I will stand by that statement, so you can subject that to rigorous scrutiny. And yeah, it's this huge global thing, which obviously Yug is involved with now, but I get to step in and help keep Australia on track to still be kind of the biggest gaming show in Australia.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We'll see what other web pages we can create today.
Yeah,
Last
yeah.
when we had Yug on the show, Jam couldn't make it, and so we told him that he was temp Jam, and he quite liked that. And during the show, he registered the domain www.tempjam.com. So
I should
it's
start
been
a
a
list
theme
of
for us
URLs I've got to squat.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just in case we go viral for any reason.
Absolutely.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
But yeah, I guess your original question was kind of my background as well. So prior to this, I was in journalism, which doesn't feel like a linear move at all. But I worked for a website called CNET, which you may or may not have heard of. It's a tech review site, primarily tech reviews, tech news. And when I was working there, I did kind of laptop reviews, phone reviews. But a big push while I was there was to move into pop culture and gaming stuff. So I started doing a lot of gaming reviews and movie reviews just because I wanted to, and they kept paying me when I started doing them, which was great.
Good deal.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's, you know how the thing where it's like, find something you want to do and find someone to pay you to do it and you'll never work a day in your life? I kind of went the other way. I found someone who was paying me and then just started to do what I wanted to do, which seemed to work out. And, you know, going back a little further, I've done stuff in publishing. I've been involved in comics, like I write a comic as well. So it's sort of all over.
Yeah.
I know this isn't video chat, but I'm doing the big shrug gesture now.
Yeah.
It does come across. It comes across.
Good.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's always the non-linear moves with this sort of stuff that makes for some of the best stories, I tend to find. So, yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, obviously, with the intersection of, tech and gaming, there's a natural progression of some sort there that sort of, tells a bit of a tale. But, yeah, what was the length of tenure at CNET by the end of things when you moved over?
CNET was coming up on 4 years.
Okay.
So I'd been there a fair while, and again, it was like moving up there. I started there as an editor, and then, I obviously started writing, and then I started reviewing, and we started running our own podcast over there for kind of local news. Did a bit of video stuff. It was the kind of place where you couldn't really afford to be precious.
Yeah.
You had to kind of pick up and run with whatever ball got thrown at you, which was great. It was awesome. But I think the move sort of happened because you have to be so switched on and engaged with everyone in the industry, and so much of PAX is knowing the people, from the dev side, from the publisher side, from the community side, and being able to just deal with them, find out what they want, get them involved with a show like PAX. And I guess that's how that move kind of happened.
Networks being a pretty important thing in this small industry of ours that seems to be getting less small by the day, but yeah.
Absolutely. For sure.
Nice. So I'm actually really curious, sort of getting back to the origin of the CNET story. Like, what actually sort of got involved in getting your foot in the door with CNET? And was that something you actively sought out as a job role, or is it something that kind of happened by accident and then evolved your perspective on maybe where you wanted to be career-wise? How did that actually take place?
CNET happened because I'm a great big idiot. I was working in publishing, as in novels trade publishing. This is probably 7 or 8 years ago now.
Sure.
And because I thought I wanted to be an editor, I wanted to work on books, I wanted to make novels happen, which don't do that. It's a very noble passion, but it's not a great industry to work in, for me personally. I know people who swear by it, but it was just very slow. And as I was doing that, I decided to leave, and because I do nothing if not double down, I went back to university to get trained as an editor, as in an actual, like, fixing books editor.
Wow.
And I did that, which, again, not the best move, because I came out the other side of that and just really needed a job. And the one that was going at the time for an editor paying in Sydney, which is the perfect storm of jobs that don't happen, was with CNET. So I applied, and it was Seamus Byrne, the editor at the time, who you guys might know, didn't hire me. I made it pretty far in, but at the end of it, it was like, oh, sorry, we're going to go in a different direction. And it's like, oh, well, this is kind of crappy. I'm going to have to wait another 6 or 7 months for a job like this to turn up. Right. Better start looking at the retail jobs. And then it went a couple of months down the track, and then I get a call from Seamus. It's like, hey, you still interested in that job? And I still wasn't working at the time, so it was just kind of the glancing around the room going, oh, you know, I'll come in and have a meeting. Who knows? Yeah, maybe.
Playing it cool.
If I can make it the way out of this house with all these people beating down my door, sure.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we went back in for the meeting, and pretty much instantly agreed, lost the cool completely, and got on board there as a copy editor, because that was what my background was. I've always had kind of an interest in my personal life in tech and gaming, and I kind of leveraged that a little bit. And I think I lasted about 2 months there before I was like, oh, you know, this is cool, but I'm going to start writing for you guys.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, okay. And it just kind of went from there.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of awesome.
Yeah. Well, reviewing tech's something that's always intrigued me, quite a bit because of the huge variety of stuff that you get to look at. So, what's
You'd think that, but all phones are the same.
Oh, that's true. I suppose there's probably only so many models of iPhone before you start to glaze over a little bit. Yeah. Moving into the gaming sort of stuff, though, like, I mean, how did you approach getting into the review side of things when it came to content like games compared to some of the tech pieces you would have written? Was it something you consciously got into, thinking about what the industry is like with the game review culture and some of the controversies that exist out there? What was your take on that?
A little bit, and I think something that gave me a really strong foothold originally was the fact that CNET, when we review tech, when we review phones, laptops, routers, drones, whatever, we actually take those to our labs and do measurable testing on them.
Yeah.
And that let you provide a score. So if I shouldn't say we anymore because I don't work there, if they gave a phone an 8 out of 10, it was because it hit certain benchmarks in labs.
Okay.
Games, they never scored, which was a great way to approach game reviews. So everything you wrote was like an opinion editorial thing. You couldn't do this is a 7 out of 10 game, this is an 8 out of 10 game. And I think that helped skirt a lot of the politics in scored game reviews that exist. So I think that's a nice way of phrasing it. And it really made you think about approaching a game in a way that, okay, what do I actually think about this? Who would I recommend it to? What do you get out of this game as kind of a narrative, as a media object kind of thing? So I really, really liked writing game reviews for CNET because of that. Because one thing that it taught me, and one thing I still believe, is that there is someone out there who will love a game no matter how bad it is. And when I was reviewing, the way I like to approach it was find who that person is and talk to them in this review. And that was a nice way to be able to write negative reviews but still find the merit in something. And I think that was something that was really important to me, especially looking at games from a developer side, because you know how hard it is to make games as soon as you've met one developer, because they will tell you about it. But being able to go, okay, this took a lot of work. What is good in it? How can we talk about this in a fun way, even if it's not something that I'm personally raving about?
You'd assume that at least the creators would have some sort of passion for what they're building and have a like for the product.
You'd hope. And it was really interesting because our sister publication was GameSpot, who go the complete opposite way in reviews. They still write like really in-depth editorial content, but it's all about the score. And I think, personally, I don't like scored reviews on games because I feel like people look at a score and then they don't take anything what you're saying on board.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
You're not
Quite a
alone, my
lot.
friends. I think we've had this discussion with all four of
have.
us. Yep. Yeah, especially a couple of times this year. Yeah, but like another thing that I guess has changed quite a bit in recent years when it comes to sort of game reviews and other media. I think GameSpot's probably a good example of this. Now that you've mentioned it, is the way that certain sites have had to evolve in the face of some of the new media trends that have been popping up. So you've got every Tom, Dick, and Harry with a YouTube channel, i.e., us, doing games review content, and looks at games that are out in the wild and getting hold of review copies, and joining that sort of chorus of feedback on a lot of the content out there. So how do you find that CNET kind of adapted to sort of survive in that ever-changing world? Was that a going concern? Was it a very big topic sort of at work? Or
I think just in terms of being a presence in the media, you are always going to hear more back from an audience when they disagree with you than when they agree with you. No one's going to leave a comment and go, great review, good points, well made. They're going to be like, this is the worst review, how much did they pay you to write this? Which honestly wasn't great to get, because every person I know in the media works really hard to maintain that integrity and produce what they are proud of. But you're right, there is absolutely this kind of new landscape and this demand for transparency and, I guess, authenticity, which is why kind of streaming culture has taken off so much, because it feels like it's direct access to one person and their thoughts. It's unfiltered. And I'm not saying a masthead for a big website like GameSpot or CNET would rob a writer or a content creator of that, but there's a perception that corporations don't have that soul behind the things they produce, which is just untrue. It's untrue. It's still a person producing that content. But I don't know, it's something that's really hard to rally against, because the other side of it is, yeah, you are an individual, but you are in a corporation, and that sounds a little counterintuitive, but you are still... I'm just trailing on with this sentence, guys. Feel free to stop me whenever.
No, this is very entertaining for multiple reasons. Go.
It's very unfiltered. It's good.
No, I'm going to pump the brakes here.
Yeah. All right. Well, I can pop in then and go completely sideways question. So we mentioned that you had another endeavor that you like doing, because, one thing isn't enough. You got to do lots of things at once, like all amazing people do.
Can we go back to the bit where I said I was an idiot? Because I sure am.
So you do a little thing called the Bad Guys. Can you tell us what that is for those uneducated heathens like myself up until half an hour ago?
So that is but it's fine, you're on the winning team now.
Exactly.
The Bad Guys is a webcomic that I write. It is my side hustle, and I love using the phrase side hustle to describe it. Yeah. It's a sitcom superhero heist movie webcomic, because I just like to keep throwing descriptors at it until I hit one that people are like, oh, that sounds good. It's something we publish weekly online on a site called Webtoons. I write it personally. I work with an amazing artist called Orlando Caicedo, who used to work on Archer. We've been working on that for... Yeah, see? I found the thing that made someone go, it works.
Keep throwing out those words.
We've been working on it as a team, something like 3.5 years. We've been publishing for just over 12 months. The publishing deal was because we wound up winning this superhero comic contest sponsored by Stan Lee, which...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see,
no
there's
big
another
deal,
one.
Right? No big deal.
I think I've heard of that guy before.
He got you, Jam.
Some niche little guy. He writes the occasional story.
But yeah, we've been working on that for just over a year now. It's kind of coming up to the end of the first major story arc, so it's a good time to get on board and get caught up with everything.
Funny story, Luke. I just before Ollie jumps in with the next question, I got to say, I was doing some research on your Bad Guys stuff, earlier in the week, and actually had a moment of confusion where I realised that my son actually reads it, and then I actually realised, there's a children's book series. Yeah, how much confusion has that caused for you?
Yeah.
It's mostly friends who find that book in bookshops and just send that to mess with me.
Yep.
Because they know they know that the fact that I know there's something else out there with the same name shits me to no end.
Because my eldest loves
when I was first writing this
that.
comic about a team of supervillains who team up to do a heist, I go, what should we call this? And then nothing was using the bad guys at that time. Nothing. It's like, how was this title not taken? And it turns out someone else was also working on something called the bad guys at the same time, and I was wrong.
It's totally fine. I'm just going to talk to my son tomorrow and totally fuck with him and say that I spoke to the guy who writes bad guys.
You did.
He won't know.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Exactly.
It was when Luke, you said, "Oh, I think my son has these books." I'm like, I'm not
sure
sure
about
that's
that?
the case.
Yup.
Yeah. So I've now read, because I'm a fast reader and I'm really cool like that, I've read the first 3 chapters of this comic now. And please take this as a very high compliment. I'm getting a very Rob Kirkman vibe from it. Is he like an inspiration, or
take that on board? So the big inspirations for the bad guys, and I think you can get this if you've ever seen any of these things in Reddit. It's Dr. Horrible sing-along blog.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep. All right.
Irredeemable Ant-Man, which I think was Kirkman, might have been Hickman. And Superior Foes of Spider-Man, which was, I think, Nick Spencer.
Yeah.
And that was just a little 12-issue comic of D-list supervillains. It was actually weird. So we'd started writing bad guys before Superior Foes came out, and it's like, oh, this is kind of our idea, but Marvel is doing it, so we're kind of screwed. But it's fine. They're different enough. Every idea is stolen. Art is theft.
Maybe Marvel will see what you're working on and decide to go in a different direction. Maybe. Who knows?
I think
It's
Artist Theft
doubtful.
might be your first website that you need to get.
Yeah, there you go. Make that a domain.
There we go.
I guess the other thing is, how did you get into it? Like, it's not generally something you just go, you know what, I'm gonna make a webcomic, and it just sort of sprouts out and happen. Like, how does that process occur?
I don't really want to shit on your logic here, but one day I decided I wanted to write a webcomic, so I did.
Yes! Prove you wrong.
Would you recommend that to others?
Originally, it wasn't a webcomic that we were doing. It's like I wanted to write a comic, and I wrote that as a traditional print comic, and I went to Reddit and found an artist on Reddit, because that's a normal thing. And we made this as a printed, proper paperback comic, 22-page monthly issue, because, we're old school like that. And then realized that no one was going to pay us for it, so we decided to look at other ways to do it. And at that time, we were hearing back from a couple of publishers, and this contest came up, and it's like, oh, these guys want webcomics. We could make this a webcomic. And so we kind of cut it all up and rebuilt it. If you've just read it, you've seen it in like the long, narrow strips, as opposed to the traditional kind of left-right panel page kind of things. And that's because the site we're with is meant to be for reading on mobile. So you just keep scrolling down rather than across. So we kind of reformatted the entire first issue of the comic to fit that. And, yada, 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 Stan Lee, the rest happened. So yeah, absolutely, just start writing one, but don't expect to ever make money off it.
Do it because you want to do it, really.
Yeah.
Or find a
everything
job
else is
that
bonus.
pays you and get them to pay you for writing a comic while you're working for them, doing other things, maybe. That
Look,
follows
I
the same logic as
can't
before, doesn't
say
it?
that I never wrote scripts at work. I was meant to be doing other stuff.
Oh, dear. Then you just got to make your own destiny, right?
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't work there anymore. What are they going to do?
Give you a better job? Yeah. So you've got a new job. You have been in it for just about a month now, I assume.
This is week 4.
Week 4. Okay, so not even quite yet. How has your experience been moving from the sort of journalism and I guess your webcomic space into the world of, ReadPop and what that entails? Because that's a big global company. I mean, I know they've got their local Australian office, but...
I did kind of come from that big global corporate culture at CNET, so that wasn't a real huge rude awakening. The biggest shift for me is I thought I knew what busy was before I started at ReadPop. And I was wrong. I was such a sweet summer child.
Yes!
It is amazing. And look, obviously I've come on at a time when we have PAX in 3 months, so things are crazy. Like between now and PAX Australia, we've got PAX West, we've got 2 Comic-Cons, we've got trips to Melbourne, so it's just constantly moving. It's the shark thing. If you ever stop moving, you'll die.
Yeah. Good mascot for you guys.
We should. I'll put that up in the next staff meeting we have. We should just have a shark on our logo.
There might be a marketing problem.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But it's been a good way to kind of learn the minutiae of the job. I mean, you go in kind of knowing broad strokes, this is what I have to make happen, and then you learn kind of everyone involved that you never even thought was a job that worked on this, but you've got to learn how to work with them, you've got to liaise with the US, because we're a huge brand in a way that we weren't previously. We've got, the Penny Arcade identity to hold on to, we've got the PAX identity to hold on to, but we still work for ReadPop Australia locally, and it's just a bit of a crazy juggling act, and at the same time, you're reaching out to, publishers, devs, community groups, being like, hey, come to PAX and do your thing at PAX. So it's just, the metaphors about spinning plates and juggling, I thought I understood those before as well, but that's just kind of what it is. Every day is like talking to people, selling them on PAX, trying to get them to officially say they will be coming down and not say, oh, we'll see after Gen Con. We'll see after Gamescom, because those are two things that I'm getting told a lot. It's a level
It's a crazy
of hustle.
landscape.
Yeah, there's just so much hustle, and I am honestly loving it so far. But again, it's been 3 and a bit weeks, so I'm sure I'll crash and burn soon. But that's why we have an off season,
Yeah.
Just make it to November, it'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. I do exactly the same thing in my day job. You think you're busy and you go, I'll just get to this week, or I'll get to this day or this month, and then everything will be fine and everyone will remain alive.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's my current operant theory.
So, with PAX less than 3 months away, are you finding that you have a lot of influence? Are you able to push, I guess, the agenda in the direction you want it to go? Or do you hope to have more influence, sort of maybe changing things up for future events?
Oh, look, there is an insane amount of, maybe not influence, but definitely responsibility. And that's responsibility to deliver on what PAX Oz is and what it means to the community. Because we're coming up on 5 years of the show now, and people who have been before have really strong associations with what it is, what they expect from the show. And most of what I'm doing for my first year is just trying to deliver on that, trying to keep PAX what it is for now. Obviously, I've got my own agenda and I'm pushing stuff. Like, I, again, love tabletop games, so I'm going, hey, here's some cool tabletop stuff we can do.
Brilliant. Right, that's what I want to hear.
Yep.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad at least one person will be there playing board games, because I can't this year. I will be running around for 3 days.
I've got a photo from last year that proves that more than one person will be playing tabletop, I can assure you.
Yes.
A lot of people.
100%.
Luke, you just got to get that Blood Bowl tournament happening, man. That's got to be a thing.
Man, I really, really want to.
Yeah.
I really want to. But again, I can't play in it, so maybe we'll do that the day after PAX. But yeah, actually, this is just a fun little fact. The very first PAX I went to, I was there volunteering for my mate's board game company demoing board games.
Ooh.
That was how I
Wow.
went into my very first PAX.
Nice. What was the company?
Amazing.
Awesome.
Full circle
Good
now.
games. Good games.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There you go. Lots of things in common. The Lukes have things in common. This is insane.
Yeah, surprise,
All right,
surprise.
They're sinking.
Yeah. So you've attended PAX before, obviously, in multiple different guises. What would have been the thing that you were there for? Was it just tabletop? And has that changed now that you are PAX Australia?
Well, again, now I'm getting paid to do there. I've gone the other way this time. I've found something that I want to do, and now people pay me for it.
Yeah.
I think that is the really good thing about PAX, is I never went for one thing. I went for everything. Like, I love tabletop. I love checking out games. I am in love with the indie area. Just seeing the showcase every year,
Yes.
seeing what the other indies are bringing to the table, checking out panels. It's just, there's too much there to see everything, and that is such a good problem to have, especially
really
when going
is.
to a show.
Yeah. When you leave and you have conversations with people, you've all been there for 3 days, and especially for us, we're at the airport sort of like debriefing on what we saw, and someone will mention something. I'm like, I never even saw that booth. Like, not one
You're
single
lying.
time. I walked around the whole thing that did not exist. You're lying to me. And I did not stumble upon it in my ramblings throughout PAX. That's really cool. And I think that indie showcase, we had the indie showcase winners announced today, which is always really exciting. That is, I mean, Jam and I are just glued there. There is a good chance you'll find us there or playing a board game. So,
I can I can
Love
tell
those
you guys
guys.
now, if all 4 of you can get in at the same time, play Gravity while you're down there. It's like a couch brawler kind of thing, but it's so fun. If you're going to play it in low gravity mode.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. That's
Will
a really
do.
good
Take
tip.
that under advisement.
Done.
That is my
Yeah.
PAX hot tip.
There you go.
Excellent.
Hashtag PAX
There we
tips. Yeah.
Of
Just
your
the
past PAX experiences, do you have a most memorable moment? Do you have something that stands out, a story that you always tell?
Ooh, story that I always tell about PAX. Okay, so this isn't a great story, but it happened at a PAX.
Does it involve tequila and does it involve Yug? No?
No,
Cool.
but it.
Go on, good sir.
I guess it kind of does. It was, I think, not last year. It wasn't last year. It was the year before. It was a night. I was down there as part of the media, doing the kind of games journo thing, and it was one night where there were 5 industry parties on,
Wow.
and we went to all of them.
Holy
Oh, wow.
shitballs.
And the one we stopped at the very end, the 5th one we went to, we chose right because there was a self-serve vodka bar.
Oh, wow.
That's never going to end well.
Wow.
It sure didn't. Because after that, we decided to go to Footscray to do karaoke.
This is
That's
fantastic.
You know,
Did
that's the
everyone get
natural
their Sylvester
progression,
Stallone
really.
impression on at that point?
I can't even. I remember being at karaoke, and the next year at PAX, I ran into people. It's like, where do I know you from? And then we worked out we were both at karaoke. There was about 30 people in this room, and I knew 2 of them.
Oh my god.
But the
I love
actual
that about
memory,
PAX.
Yeah,
the
that's the
actual
best
memory
thing
this
about
leads
PAX.
into is the next day when I fell asleep on the beanbags in the big show floor.
You're one of those.
Oh my gosh, I always see those people. I'm like, how are you? I'm like, I'm tired, but I'm not that tired.
I'll
Like, I'm
tell
not
you how I
full
was that tired because we did
Self-serve
not
vodka
sleep.
bar. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, those beanbags must have looked like heaven.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it though. Beanbags
I-
are friggin'
I-
comfy. They're great.
Can recommend. And look, this is not a great story to tell now that I'm content manager of PAX. What's the best thing you've ever done at PAX? I fell asleep in a beanbag. But
You got to have space for every attendee, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the beanbag more than anything else.
it is. See, if our beanbags are that good, imagine everything else.
Yeah. It's funny how those things stand out. I know the very first year I went, the first year it was in Australia, the memory that stands out is the queue room on that first day before I'd even seen inside. I hadn't
so
seen the
good.
expo hall.
Yeah.
The hype in that room was insane. It was the most amazing feeling because I'd never felt anything like that before. This sort of thing didn't happen in Australia. And
Yeah,
that stands out. And everything else is utterly fantastic. And I love it. But that little sort of abstract moment, just
The
I had
fact
all
that
of
you
the
get
feeling.
5,000 people waiting to get let in, and
Yeah.
that's an event. It's like, oh my god, people are queuing up, and that's part of the show. It's not waiting to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And you realise these are my people. They get it. They love this stuff like I do. They don't just look at you and go, what? So this is perhaps the most important question.
Yep.
Whoa.
PAX Unplugged.
Yes.
Australia?
Boston.
Could it happen?
What's it gonna take, Luke? What's it gonna take?
We may have a vested
Do?
interest.
How many
Look.
signatures do we need?
Give me 12 months and I'll see what I can do. Because,
Yes!
you know, I've got a horse in this race as well, guys.
All right.
Fantastic.
If you're assembling a posse, we want in on that shit. That's gonna have to be a thing
yeah.
that happens.
We are a
Oh, I hadn't even
resource.
considered a posse. We could start a posse. We could be the 2 cool hand Lukes.
Well,
no,
you-
that doesn't scan. That's bad. Cut that out.
Lucky Luke.
Go with PAX
Works.
Posse. Just keep it simple.
Yep.
Oh, because that would be amazing. I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, but
Such a good
you know,
idea.
just tabletop gaming becoming more and more of a thing, and that's not going unnoticed. Like, we are growing our tabletop area locally, even if we're not doing standalone shows, you know, because people love that shit, and you've got, you know,
Yeah.
50,000 nerds in the same place. Yeah, we're going to
Oh,
put
yeah.
more games on tables.
Yeah. I like the cross pollination as well. That kind of, there's people there who are there to see the newest, hottest, and like get their hands on games, and there's people who are there to, you know, do the same thing but in the tabletop area. And then they,
Yeah.
because they're there, they then just cross over into that dark room or over into the well lit room, and they just discover this whole other world for themselves. And you see all these people.
Yeah.
Going, I remember a guy sitting down with us my first year, and he didn't know what Cards Against Humanity was. I was like, where have you been?
Yeah. And we had a
Cards Against-
total of 20 people playing.
Oh, that was nuts.
That was insane.
Oh
and
my
do you remember
God.
we were playing a
Back
game
when
of-
it was cool to play Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah. And we were playing Cash versus Guns last year. We all had foam guns pointed at each other in a Mexican standoff, and people walking past going, "What is this?" Mm-hmm. It's so great because you just see people enjoying it, and you go, "Ooh, I need to try that now."
No, it is good. It's a super good place for sort of meeting new people too, because I think there's a lot of camaraderie when it comes to people sort of wandering around and seeing a game with a spare seat, and they're just like, "You guys looking for a player? Yeah, jump in." And yeah, it's a super common thing in that area. It's really good to see. So.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that has stuck with me from the first time I went, is just how open and welcoming everyone is. Because everyone knows everyone else is there to just have a good time and check some stuff out, and that attitude and that positivity is so contagious.
Absolutely.
All the people that will walk up, like I remember I bought Tokaido one year, and just because I'd heard it was really good, and I'm a bit of an art nerd, and so Tokaido was beautiful. And somebody walked over and they said, "Look, I'm an expert in this game. Do you want me to teach you how to play it?" And so not only did I get to experience it, but hear somebody sort of talk about why things were built that way and the mechanics behind it and everything. And I mean, we play that game a lot, so it was just
great.
so nice to have somebody walk up and offer their assistance. And so hopefully maybe one day I'll become an expert in a board game and be able to teach somebody else, because that's the best part of PAX. It is kind of weird, I will admit, because it's in the Spring Racing Carnival in Melbourne, so there is also a lot of people there to watch horses run around. And when you walk out onto the South Bank and you're
it's
going
just
to a
nerds
restaurant,
and then drunk
it's
people
either
in suits?
it's either fedora wearing shirt people, or a fedora and shirt wearing people, or t-shirt people with backpacks, and you very easily figure out which group you belong to. And they just stare each other off in the middle of the Brauhaus that's down there, the big German eatery. It's so bizarre. The most bizarre mixture of people that I've ever seen.
You see them staring at each other off from the other side of the promenade, and it's like...
You're really selling this posse thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The thing works.
We're
It
going
totally
to
works.
overtake the
travel
Spring
in
Carnival.
packs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if I can throw it back to you guys for a second, what have your best PAX moments been? I can ask this as a professional kind of thing now.
Great question.
Ooh.
Oh gosh, mine was easy. Mine's real easy. So you guys think away. Mine, I was in a Meganaut last year. And
That is so cool.
It was honestly the coolest, and I know that a couple of the Meganauts from last year listened to our show, so hi guys. And we are great friends. There is a great global community of Meganauts, so I'm connected up to all of those guys now, and they all followed along and watched us all play and everything else. And we met the guys, because everyone travels from the States to Australia, of course. Why wouldn't you if you won the Omegathon? As their prize, they came to PAX Australia. And so I met all those guys and, kept in contact with everybody. So it's really cool. And now I play online games with some of the Omeganauts from over East. And, that would be so tough to top that. I mean, I love PAX. It's the one thing that I've done every year without fail. We've booked our flights, accommodation and tickets. We're all set to go. But being an Omeganaut was pretty cool. And Travis at Penny Arcade does a brilliant job on that side of things. Do you guys get involved in that at all, Luke? Do you know, or you just kind of give them a space and they do the rest of it?
Oh, we're kind of passingly involved. We're actually talking to Travis now about kind of potential things for the final, and we got some cool ideas.
Oh, of course you need to, because the final is always the big
Logistical
weird reveal.
nightmare.
And the cows, was it Cowboys and Aliens?
That
The
was
VR
epic. That
was so
shoot
good.
off
Yeah.
was amazing. That blew my mind. And I mean, I got to sit up, we were sitting up the front with all the other Meganauts, and we got let in, we're in the front rows, and it was all really cool, so that was really exciting. And Tycho and I've forgotten their
Gabe.
names. Just Mike and Jerry. Oh my gosh! Signed my pass, and I was so excited. And then to see that sort of up front, and also know the two ladies who were competing. Also, 2 women in the final. Booyah! That was loved the fact that was Australia. So I'm really happy with that too.
How far did you make it?
I got knocked out in the first round.
We don't talk
but
about
that's
this.
okay. because
No,
because we
like-
made plenty of
Still sore.
content. It was a brutal game of Uno. So Travis accidentally called 21 people instead of 20, and so I ended up being randomly drawn into the larger group where 2 of us were eliminated. Which meant that
See,
they
that's
changed the
unfair.
rules for elimination a little bit. So it was,
You
used
should
to
have
be.
taken that to PAX Court.
It was rigged.
To tell you the truth, to be on and do that, I practiced all of the other games and I would have kicked butt in Rascals and I would have, nailed most of the other rounds. But I'm kind of glad I got out in Uno because I got to just hang out with everybody and enjoy the rest of PAX.
You certainly made the most
so
of the
I was a little
experience as a result.
stressed out.
I'll say that.
That's for sure. I went to every single one. I was there cheering everybody on. So,
Yeah.
I loved it. I'm looking forward to seeing the new group for this year.
Well, I'll sort of jump in with my biggest sort of awesome experience with PAX, and I've actually got two, but one's really quick, so I'll just do the slightly longer one first. The first year attending PAX, I had come from a largely tabletop gaming focused sort of background, so I actually used to work for Games Workshop and got involved in a lot of tabletop scene here in WA.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and sort of jumped into PAX as a kind of like a first big Aussie convention kind of thing. And Ollie actually observed this happen to me over the weekend. There were a couple of moments where I just went, holy fuck, I know nothing.
That was entirely amusing. I'm like, how do you not know this?
Yeah.
Or what about this?
It was amazing. It was the first time in a long time that I'd actually felt that, and the feeling was overwhelming in a good way. So yeah, it was amazing, sort of going through that. And the second thing was actually us all sort of, some of us for the first time, actually meeting Mimo the following year. I thought that was a huge highlight because then we all sort of really headed off, and
Yeah.
and a show was born.
I came to PAX. I've always been a gamer, but maybe probably a bit more of a secret gamer. So I came to PAX because I'm a huge Penny Arcade fan and have been for a very, very long time. And so I didn't really know very many people, and Jam's sister I knew was going, and I kind of knew Jam. So she said, "Oh, come and you can hang out with us for a bit." And that was, I joined the WhatsApp group, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago now?
Yep.
And I've not left the PAX WhatsApp
It's
group.
stuck with us. Stuck
Now
with
we're
us
on a
forever.
podcast together. Yeah. So, bit of a spike. PAX created this podcast. It's a big reason why we exist. So
That's 100% true.
Very, very true. Yeah, I'll be really selfish in mine. I'm a huge Penny Arcade fan as well, so being able to meet the Penny Arcade guys in that first year was immense. Like, we actually hung out with a bunch of them for a good while, just chatting on the show floor. That was really quite pleasant. I was like,
Koo.
sweet.
Yeah, Robert
Not
Koo
even
was super
but
giving with his
3
time.
years in a row, I met Koo, and he had, for some reason, was standing still for 5 minutes and got to chat every time. It was amazing.
So, to give you context, I don't really fanboy out very much. Like, anyone who knows me knows that I don't generally fanboy out. So, last year I got to meet Chris Straub, and that is anyone who saw me at that point.
He was glowing.
So,
he
I
was
have
glowing.
never been such a fucking fanboy in my life.
You were emanating glee like I've never seen before.
Yeah, so that says a lot when you could be like, oh, this is this really cool movie coming out. I'd be like, that's neat, that's cool. But as soon as someone's like, yeah, Chris Straub was there, I was like, you fucking what? Where is this man? Take me to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was easily my highlight. And just being able to like stand there and have a chat with him for like, I think a good 15, 20 minutes I chatted to him. Was just super, like, made my day.
Well,
Made my day.
Ollie, I'll tell you that I actually saw on Chris's Twitter, I think it was yesterday or today, that he's confirmed he's coming back this year. So there you go.
Oh, good. I can talk about that. Yeah, he's definitely coming back this year.
That's the hard part of the job, Luke. Like,
Excellent.
what is announced? What is announced?
Yeah.
Where is my NDA? Oh god.
So for me, I mean, other than the queue room, which is always epic, PAX Rising is definitely a highlight. Every year I'm just astounded at the amazing games in there. And also, because I've been there from the start and our group has slowly grown over time, I'd tell friends about it and I'd explain, you have to be there to understand what it feels like to have these thousands of people around you who have the same passion and all of the cool stuff. And they go, oh yeah, sounds great. Yeah, we'll try get there. And when they finally do, just seeing their faces, that recognition that they get it, they do feel like they're home. I just love that every year. We have 1 or 2 new people who go, oh my God, why have I not been here before? It's just, it's so nice to share it.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well,
Also, side note, female, like, the best part of PAX, that the practical side of things, is that the female bathrooms are always clean and empty. It's like a respite. You can go there. It's quiet. There's not many people in there.
It
It's
was
wonderful.
it was even better in the first year. There was almost no queuing. Whereas the guys had queues sneaking out the door and
Yeah, that
up
was
the
not
hall.
super good
Sucks
the
to be
first
you.
year.
So hilarious.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Luke. That's your market research portion of your job duties tonight done. Nice.
This is fun. I can bill these hours tomorrow.
Yeah, totally do that. That's awesome.
What do the people want? They want bathrooms and more queuing.
Bathrooms and more queuing. We did not say that.
Look, check the tape because I'm pretty sure you can take that information from what I was
We're not
told.
taking blame for this.
Porta potties in every queue.
That's it. Just get Bethesda onto it. I'm sure they'll theme a thoughtful
Just
outline
start
of some
setting
sort.
up like queue lines and just see how
Just
many people
random
join
queue
them.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
No, it's just queuing. Just because you
Some
can.
sort of like
very British.
Mm-hmm.
alternate reality sort of marketing. You just start creating queues, places that go nowhere. One of them will get you somewhere.
Yeah.
Make it a game.
Well, anyway, speaking of games, let's jump into a bit of actual game chat and talk about some of the stuff that we've been playing recently. And I'm super keen to hear about what Luke might be getting into at the moment, sort of video games wise. You got any current passions that you're pursuing that you're actually getting some time to play? Is that a thing that happens?
Well, mate, a new Hearthstone expansion's just come out, so that's my
Oh,
highlight.
fuck
Oh my
yes.
gosh, the other Luke
Oh,
likes
dear.
Hearthstone as well. We're all doomed.
Skype call cancelled.
This is hilarious. I was actually just looking at our channel earlier. We've put up a video every day for the past 5 days, and 3 of them have been Hearthstone vids. I'm just like, yep, this has been a good week.
What a shocking
When you
twist.
first called me this evening to set this up, I was in the middle of a game, and I didn't want to say anything because I thought I could finish before we started recording.
Excellent. Did you?
I did. I didn't win, though.
Oh.
Nice.
Shame.
Oh, thank you for your pity. That really makes me feel better.
Well, we're going to talk about Hearthstone tonight anyway, because Imogen and I have been playing a little bit, so we might as well just roll all this together. So how are you finding Knights of the Frozen Throne at the moment?
I'm enjoying it more than Ungoro. It felt like when Ungoro first hit, people had already sold the meta.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having a lot of fun just playing around with weird decks right now, which is really cool. Which isn't a feeling I've had in Hearthstone in a long time. Because this expansion just has a bunch of weird cards.
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm still trying to make Dragon Priest work again because I love playing Priest. But have you guys seen like the ridiculous Highlander Priest deck with the new Death Knight card?
I'm currently playing it.
Oh,
I knew you
He's
would
that
be.
cool guy.
Yeah.
Shadow Reaper
Cheating
Anduin is
McPherson.
awesome. He is ridiculous. Yep.
yeah. I thought I had a game in hand earlier today, and then it's like, oh, okay, he's got Shadow Reaper Anduin, that's fine. It's like, oh wait, no, he's running a Highlander deck, and there's Raza, so now his hero power's free. Oh, and he's just got a bunch of 0-cost penguins in his hand because he's a big jerk.
Yep. No, it's a very...
Honestly,
Penguin
if you guys
Lord.
don't know what I'm talking about, that was just nonsensical.
Just
They're
noise.
There were words.
Yeah. No, what,
sure
you,
what-
you can actually
Ollie
see it
and
in
Jam don't
progress.
play.
One of the videos we
I
put
have
up was
played, though.
Christian
I
doing
get
it.
it.
So, yeah. That's good. Yeah, no, I actually wanted to talk about the PvE content that was part of the expansion. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
prologue and that stuff. So Imogen, I know you sort of jumped in.
I
into
am
the
having
prologue.
a time.
Yeah, yeah.
I am having a time. So for background for the other Luke, I enjoy playing Hearthstone, but to say that I am a casual Hearthstone player is a underestimation. I do not enter into meta. I certainly do not have all of the cards and all of those things. I just enjoy the game because I'm a big Warcraft fan.
Yep.
So that's kind of what got me hooked into it. And I just kind of enjoy sort of games. I'm also studying at the moment, so Hearthstone's a good excuse to have a quick study break, and it's not like diving into Horizon Zero Dawn or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the PvE stuff, and I am stuck on Lord Marrowbone. He is so tough. I've got him down to 1 health 4 times now.
Ooh.
So
Oh, no.
for
Is
those-
he the one he like constantly just tops
Yeah.
up at the end of every
So-
turn? Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah, for 0 mana, he can restore all of his health. So unless you take 30 health off him in one go, he will just heal back up again. So you basically have
Wow.
to, not only that, but he ramps up really quickly and kills you, and has a lot of sort of death rattle cards and really nice synergy in his deck, obviously, because it's a PvE. And so you need to get it done quickly, and you need to get 30 points off him. And my biggest problem is I just do not have the card. So I looked up a lot of how-tos and had a look, and I've got a couple of them, but there's some major ones that I don't have either 2 of, or I can't craft and those types of things. So now I'm kind of stuck, and I'm really a little bit frustrated because I do like this expansion more than the other ones, just thematically. But I haven't had this trouble in the other PvEs. I haven't come up against something, especially so early on, that is so difficult for me to do just because I don't have those particular cards.
I actually have a theory behind this from a Blizzard design perspective. I think that the way they've done the expansion this time, because each mission doesn't have gated sort of content behind it, like unlocking cards by completing the missions, I think that this actually gives them the license to make everything a lot harder so that people get more value out of it.
That's true.
Yeah. Because there's a definite
I'll still do
jump.
it. Like it's not a bad thing. It's just for me I'm really struggling, and I got really close to buying PAX the other day, and then I thought no, because I make fun of Luke all the time, so I shouldn't really follow suit and spend ridiculous amounts of money on cards. So we'll see. I'll keep going at it, but it is one of those things that I nearly threw my iPad off my balcony the other day when I got him down to 1 life for the 4th time. I was like, I've had enough. This is not a study break.
Rage break, yeah. No, I really liked the prologue mission as well, which was almost scripted. Like the entire thing is almost scripted, but it was hilarious. So without sort of spoiling too much of the mission, because there's a few things in there that people should probably try for themselves, it kind of is like a tongue-in-cheek simulation of the original Ice Crown raid battle, I believe, actually fighting the Lich King. Now, I haven't actually done that raid myself, so I can't sort of compare to personal experience, but I've sort of heard from enough people who have, and you actually have a few sort of characters that you fight against, like minions that are played onto the board that sort of simulate the worst kind of like Warcraft party members. Like there's actually a character called AFK that can't attack.
Yes, I loved that. She's like, oh, sorry, are we playing?
Yep. And just other tongue-in-cheek ones like that. It was really funny. So it's definitely Hearthstone.
Broken the fourth wall for sure, because they self-reference themselves as being in a card game and everything else, but it's still that deep down, like that canon, that Warcraft canon, which is really cool. So I did.
That's
really
what
like
I've
that.
always loved about Hearthstone is it's Warcraft lore, but it takes the piss a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a joke, yeah.
Definitely its own thing.
And also, the like the lines that come out from each of the characters when you like playing down the cards and things as well just sort of gives me that itch to get back into WoW that I've been trying to resist.
And Mimo was never seen again.
That's it.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. So that's what I've been playing this week.
Nice. Anything besides Hearthstone, Luke, or is that kind of just been the only thing you can squeeze in currently?
Prior to starting, I was getting onto Life is Strange for the first time because I just never played it when it was coming out episodically, and I really want to get back to it, but when? That's actually why I'm playing Hearthstone so much right now, because I can do it on the train and not feel guilty.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Life is Strange I was really enjoying. I am a sucker for the heavy narrative dialogue choice kind of game.
Yeah, I'm curious to check out the prequel when that arrives, but I'm preparing myself for the likely possibility that it's going to feel quite different to the original because the time travel weirdness stuff not being a part of it. So
yeah, because that is so cleverly worked in. It will be weird to find how that game is without it.
Yeah.
Like, again, not to spoil anything, but there's dramatic moments in the game where you can't rewind.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes a difference. We had this discussion a couple of months ago, but I think that to actually use that element of the story, they almost would have to do a side story or a sequel as opposed to a prequel. But one of the problems, and this isn't going to spoil anything in particular for you, given that you haven't finished it yet, but there are multiple endings, and I think that if they were to continue the canon on past this sort of installment, depending on which ending you get, that would actually change anything that is built on afterwards as far as the story goes. So yeah, it's a tough one to build a sequel off of. It's kind of like that same argument around the end of the Mass Effect trilogy. Like, how do you actually build on that story, given that it can end completely differently in different ways?
You ignore Mass Effect 3 is the correct answer.
Yeah, that's definitely what the answer tends to be.
You can't argue that.
I'm not talking to any of you anymore.
Yeah, but no, it'll be interesting. But speaking of massive stories, I think we have to give a hearty round of applause to Jam, who actually finished a bit of a milestone this week. So
Yes, I finally finished Persona 5.
You did it.
115 hours.
How many?
100 what? Sorry.
Jesus.
115.
Wow.
And every time
my
I thought it
life.
was about to finish, it kept going. It's amazing.
Oh,
It is amazing.
man.
It is epic. I can't say anything because I'll spoil it for Mimo. But when
You
Mimo
feel my
finished
pain
it,
when you finish Horizon Zero Dawn.
I
we'll
know.
talk.
We'll exchange words. We will. And
Stern
we'll
words.
also we'll just have to run a session sometime with Christian about Persona 5 because there is so much to talk about.
A
It is
full
fabulous.
spoiler Persona
It is
5. I'm down. Yep.
Every element of the game is extraordinary, from the narrative to the sound to the design to the combat. I just love it.
So the pacing was on point. There wasn't any low spots. It was sort of consistent the whole way through.
Yeah. Oh, it kept surprising me. Like,
Even
it's-
early on, I'm like 40 hours and it's a ramp. It's just,
Yeah.
it just escalates. Everything's always escalating.
You never,
So-
you hardly ever feel comfortable. You think, oh yeah, I'm doing good for time, and suddenly shit goes down, and you go, oh no, oh I wasn't prepared for this. It's just so well made, and now I have to look at all of the other Persona games because I'm going to start
Jam.
having
and the
withdrawals.
anime and the...
We're gonna do an anime sesh.
Yes, that too. All of the things.
And the
Good
the
fun.
dancing games, is that going to be a thing that you want to try out?
I mean, if I wasn't so prone to hurting myself, with the slightest
Eating.
physical activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to go
Walking.
outside for this one, though. You do realise that.
I know, but I bloody hit my wrist on the tabletop this morning for no reason. I
Solid.
don't have the coordination.
Solid effort. Nice. Well, Ollie and I played something a little different during the week.
Yeah.
I'm super curious to hear your thoughts on this, Ollie, because we only really briefly talked about it before. So we've both been playing Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, which just came out about a week ago. Yeah. So go, Ollie. Tell us what you thought of it first.
So do you want me to?
Yeah.
All right. So this is going to be a very limited because I've played a whole 30 minutes before I had to jump into PUBG. I had to, air quotes, jump into PUBG. I was
was
forced
required.
to. Again,
Yeah.
it was mandated. So I only have very brief initial impressions, but can I just say, because I'm a audio nerd in that I love excellent sound design and I love excellent soundscapes and soundtracks and whatnot for various bits and pieces. And the sound design alone in this game, in the first, 10 minutes, just knocked my fucking socks off. I am there going, oh my god, I kind of want to replay the first 5 minutes of this game just so I can hear absolutely everything. And you have to play this game with headphones.
Yeah.
You will not do this game justice if you play it without headphones, in my opinion, because it is so claustrophobic, I guess, for lack of a better word, audially.
No, that's bang on. I think that
claustrophobic.
exactly encompasses it. Yeah.
It's so... There's no lulls. There is always that audio pressure. There's always voices. There's always some form of audio in it. They've done such a fantastic job with the audio. The game itself actually looks amazing as well. The game is super cool. The theme is solid. It's all very... I'm going to get this wrong and someone's going to get mad at me. It's not Celtic. It's...
No, the main character is Celtic, for sure.
It is Celtic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I was on the right track there. But it's very Norse mythology, that sort of thing, and it's so cool right now. I haven't played enough to know what the essence of the game is, apart from some vague story things and where the main character is going. But already I love it and I want to play more of it.
Yeah.
But then I had to play PUBG and shoot people and die a horrible death.
Well, I guess
So-
I'll jump in because I've kind of played a bit more past that point. I had a good session last night. So I'm about 2 hours in now, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
and, I mean, if anyone wants to sort of see what this game sort of looks and feels like, we've actually got a video up on the channel of the first 20 minutes. It did a bit of a hot take, so you can check that
Shameless
out.
plug.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out. It is definitely worth having a look at, but you get the sense of the audio scope and how everything kind of bears down on you with the sound. The theme of this game is all around psychosis. The main character is sort of experiencing an event of some sort that is like a mental break. But you can't kind of work out if it's because she's actually going nuts or whether it's that she's actually dead and she's kind of in the underworld. It's not real clear. because she's kind of, the quest is around areas of a mythological nature. Like you're trying to journey to Helheim to sort of, battle or deal with the goddess Hela. So there's a lot of stuff that, anyone who's looking forward to the next Thor movie coming out will recognize some of these names. So, a lot of that sort of stuff going on. But the game itself, the gameplay is a bit walking sim, a bit sort of environmental puzzler in the same sort of way that I would say The Witness is, which is a weird thing to say, but that's kind of what it is. And there's a bit of hack and slash sort of combat going on as well. So it's a very strange blend. It's by Ninja Theory, who are also the developers of the Devil May Cry games. So you're familiar with them. Hellblade is PC and PS4. I don't think it's out on Xbox, and it's around $30 US.
See,
yeah.
Luke, you said to me before the podcast that you just didn't think I would enjoy it, but I'd lap up that Norse mythology stuff. I love it.
It was more a question mark.
I'm so curious to play it. To figure out what it is you think I'm not going to enjoy about it, because it all sounds brilliant.
Oh, reverse
not played
psychology?
Edith Finch, I would have prior to Edith Finch and you loving the shit out of that, I would have been like, no, you won't enjoy that. But because you've liked Edith Finch so much, I reckon you would actually enjoy this game.
Okay, maybe.
There will be moments that creep you the fuck out already. In the first half an hour, there are bits that you'll be like, oh, no, I don't like that. Nope. And that will be your exact reaction. But no, I reckon you will actually enjoy it overall.
Okay.
I was more a question mark.
I'm going to put it on the list for the new PC.
Yeah.
New PC game.
Good call.
There you
Good
go.
call. Yeah.
Super pretty game for a good PC.
So, Luke, have you heard anything about this game? Are you intrigued to give it a look in?
Oh, absolutely. It sounds incredibly in my wheelhouse. I hadn't heard the Witness comparisons before, but I adored the Witness. I have crazy scribbling notebooks filled with puzzle solutions from playing The Witness.
Yeah.
I think I had mine too.
Well, the element of The Witness, just to be clear that I'm sort of referencing, isn't so much the line puzzles, it's more the environmental puzzles that form the additional metagame in that game. So, without spoiling too much for anyone who hasn't played The Witness, Luke, I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about.
Spoiled it.
Yeah.
It's spoiled.
Fine.
It was
Massively spoiled,
Fine.
Luke.
Yeah.
I mean, you've ruined that entire game.
I'm going to throw my copy in the bin right now.
Witness is so 2016. I think we're good. All right.
I'm going to burn it onto a DVD and then throw it in the trash.
Yeah, but I mean, the game's pretty good at holding your hand for part of those puzzles. But it is challenging. But the combat is actually quite tough too. So, Ollie, I don't know if you've seen any of the combat at all. There's probably some combat right at the end of where you might have paused. But later it gets...
I've opened a door.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's actually not far after that.
Sounds thrilling.
It actually was a really cool puzzle. I was like, oh, I see what you did there. Clever game.
Well, there are boss fights as well. I've beaten one, and it was quite the tough technical battle, so you've got that to look forward to as well. So
excellent. I do look forward to that.
Yeah, so, but probably can't say much more about that game without getting into the spoiler territory, so try it
I'll
out
punch you
for
across
yourself.
the internet.
And the last thing, which we can just touch on briefly, because it'll sort of tie into one of our news discussion topics tonight, is Jam and Ollie and I, with one of our other friends by the name of Mark, actually got to try out the first-person mode in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds last night. So,
oh my god.
Yeah.
I love it so much more.
So this is a new thing. There's dedicated servers for first-person mode of PlayerUnknown's as opposed to the default of third-person. Now, am I correct in that there's not an Oceanic server yet? We were using the Asia server last night?
Correct.
There wasn't one last night. I don't know as of today.
Okay, cool. So it's just rolling
unless
out.
something's happened in the last 24 hours. That is correct.
Yeah. So how did you two both find it? I actually quite enjoyed it, but yeah.
I love the shit out of it.
You know what's interesting? As the designated driver of the group,
I'm happy to go driving
suddenly
out,
I can't see the world. I'm like, guys, call it. I can't tell if there's there's the ditch. Okay, great. I found it. Now we're stuck. It's intense. It's so different. I really love it. And the ping wasn't too bad on the Asia server.
It was actually probably better.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent
depressing.
connection, but it was hilarious. We had some funny times, and we had some just miserable failures. But we did okay. We got to
Had a couple of good games
a
in
few
there.
times. There was one where I was alive somehow when everyone else had died, and I was running around like an idiot. And no one was shooting me. And then, I was in a building, and someone was pulled up outside, and I thought I was about to get ganked. They ran into another building, so I ran up and stole their car. as the blue was closing in. That was fun. Yep. Quite amusing.
Never to be seen
I was
again.
amused.
Well,
But,
I think
yeah.
that psychological sort of pressure that PlayerUnknown's puts you under when you're scrabbling for your life and not knowing what the heck is coming after you next, that's just amplified with first person, which I think is a really good aspect of it. So, yeah.
Which sucks when you're bad at like close combat like me. Give me any kind of scope and someone in the distance, and I'm like cool and calm. But someone's in my face, and I'll put my gun away by accident. Panic, flinch. Oh crap! Okay, I'll just stand here and take it. Great, good job.
Yeah. That is something they need to add to that game, actually, the ability to rifle butt or pistol whip someone. That would actually be quite good.
Oh, like a melee?
Yeah.
I actually agree with
There
that.
is melee. What are you talking about?
No, as in like just being able to go like a quick melee with a rifle butt sort of thing.
Okay.
Like I actually, that omission surprised me actually.
I heart the fry pan on the butt. Did you hear it
so good.
pinging the other night while I was running? It was glorious.
Yep.
It's like literally
how's-
saved my life.
Grass. Yeah.
Oh, Luke, if you add a rifle butt mechanic, you can then put a knife as a bayonet as a attachment on the front where the compensator could go, and you could have like a bayonet charge around corners.
Slow down. Let's get this vaulting thing in the game first, and then we can talk about bayonets.
Yeah, I got stuck on
I
the
want
fence.
my
Figure
bayonet
out
charge.
jumping. Yeah, we just figured out first
And a
person
pickle
mode.
help.
Yeah.
Now we're going to figure out jumping, and then we'll go to bayonet and rifle butts. Yeah.
I don't need to jump to be able to bayonet someone.
And not having the buildings disappear. We encountered that for the first time. Well, our friend did. That was hilarious.
Friend who will remain unnamed so he doesn't get banned.
Well, he didn't take advantage of it. We ended up quitting the server. But it was hilarious.
We did.
He's like,
That's
well,
all right.
I can see all the loot, but I can't get to it.
Yeah.
So bizarre.
Well, anyway, I kind of wanted to
weird.
roll this into one of our news topics this week. So I want to have a bit of a discussion about the trend that we're seeing at the moment for Death Watch modes in games. So this has become a pretty massive thing this year, and the success of PlayerUnknown's makes this not a huge surprise because we're looking at multi-tens of millions of copies of this thing sold, and it's not even out of early access yet. It's just like a success story unlike any other that we've seen in recent years. But now we've actually got talk of things like Overwatch adding a Deathwatch mode. So they're actually...
Deathmatch.
Sorry, Deathmatch, not Deathwatch.
Deathmatch.
Yeah, Deathwatch, totally.
Deathwatch is a
totally
GW
other
thing.
GW 40k thing, yeah.
That's how you said it. I was
Deathmatch
like, did
mode.
he just say Death Watch?
Yeah, Overwatch, Deathmatch, it melds together. So yeah, Overwatch is testing out a couple of Deathmatch modes, like an all-on-all and then a team-based one on their PTR at the moment. And it came as a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, I guess, myself included, because that's a game that really was never built for anything of that nature. It is very much a team game where the complementing skills and abilities of all the characters are what makes it work. So when you flip that around to an all-on-all, it's there's obviously some balance hurdles that they have to get through to make that thing actually function. So now, Luke, I know that you're a bit of an Overwatch fan as well, so I'm sure that you've got a horse in this race, to use the horse analogy.
Who do you
again.
main?
Sure, I am. So I got most played on Diva, but I play support when I can.
Nice.
I heart Diva. I've recently switched to Orisa. She's not bad.
Yeah.
I've never been able to get a handle on Orisa. It's just Diva
Mayhem
makes
mode.
so much sense to me. Oh, okay. Where
If you
Mayhem
play
mode
Orisa in
is
Mayhem mode,
Best.
oh
Jam was
my
born to be a
gosh.
giant metal horse with a gun.
Yeah,
Cheers.
and repeated gravity whoops,
Yeah.
whatever they're
Oh,
called.
man.
Mayhem mode is just easily one of the most amazing
be
things
default.
that Overwatch. Yeah, it should be default. It's so much fun. I'm a better Overwatch player because of Mayhem mode.
Imagine
Mayhem
a
mode
death
Ana
match.
and just get the entire other team asleep at the same time.
Oh,
That is the
that's
dream.
so frustrating. Well, that might happen in deathmatch. So what if they create a mayhem mode and everyone can like queue as the same character,
Ugh.
and suddenly everyone's
Oh.
just like sleeper
Asleep.
griefing each other?
I'm
It's
super
nap
curious how
simulator.
the all-in-all will go.
I mean, I'm quite a fan of the 3v3 lockout mode,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
and I guess this is kind of like that, just in terms of actual gameplay.
Yeah.
Because there's no
would
respawn in
certainly
that.
be
It's
quick.
just like knocking out the other team. But I don't know. I think Overwatch already has a big enough problem with selfish players.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really
Yes.
good
Yeah.
point.
Yes.
But then I guess that's addressed by the all v all one. I guess they can all go play that one.
Yeah, but they won't.
That's the problem. Yeah, true.
There'll be balance issues. They'll find a problem with it.
So what we're really talking about here is a gating system for assholes that we just need in the game. That's kind of a bit different to offering another
I mean,
mode.
competitive mode helped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
filtered out
To a
some.
degree.
No offense to anyone who plays competitive mode, of course.
No.
Your fun is
I'm
wrong.
just no.
My
I'm
fun
just
is
sorry
wrong.
that they have to deal with. Yeah. That's stressful.
Yeah.
I like the fun, no expectations game.
It is weird. Like
at least-
I play almost exclusively competitive mode, but every so often when I've got a couple of mates and we'll jump on arcade, we'll do Mystery Heroes, whatever, and I remember how fun that game used to be to me.
Yeah. They're just
We
the
can
different
only play.
environments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entirely different. The best thing that Blizzard ever did was do the masking of the comments. So if anyone GG easy,
Oh,
then it
right.
changes it to my mum's calling, or I'm not that secure about my own abilities, or they were just, I mean, nailed that one. Just rather than having people blocked or starring out swear words, just having building in that detection is just prime.
That's
It's a
almost
good
as
example.
good as them bringing back Battle.net as a brand. But anyway, that's a whole other thing.
But yeah, like
It's Blizzard Battle.net.
Okay, sure.
It's not Battle.net anymore.
Jesus.
Sorry.
I'm cool with the idea of the deathmatch mode, but I don't want it impacting actual team comp balance. It's like
Yeah.
I feel like that is a dangerous road to go down.
Yeah. I'm a little worried
Fair.
that we're going to see a lot of other games just try and bolt on deathmatch for the sake of it's the current big fad, and it'll be to the detriment of the rest of the gameplay. So, you know, if we see, for instance, big up-and-coming titles like Anthem, just as a hypothetical release, and, you know, part of the build of that game suffers because they put the effort into a deathmatch instead because it's the latest and greatest sort of fad, as opposed to because it actually belongs in this kind of game, then, you know, is that something that we're going to have to, you know, be worried about ongoing with new stuff coming out? So, I don't know. I'm sort of, the jury's out on that one for me. I do enjoy deathmatch, but I definitely think that it suits certain games a lot more than others, and I'm happy for it to not exist with a lot of different titles. So,
I mean, that's what the PTR is for, is testing out these types of things. They might do it. They put plenty of stuff in the PTR that never came out. So
Yeah. Or it gets shuffled into one mode in arcade, which
Yeah.
people can play for fun to change things up. You know, it's neat that they're trying different things. It's just this is one that's more mainstream for us.
all right. Speaking of controversial things, I'm going to bring up something,
Uh-oh.
and Luke has to behave.
I'll behave.
The original
Wait, which
Luke,
Luke?
not guest Luke. Maybe
Okay.
both Lukes. We're going to talk about No Man's Sky, so you let me know where you fall on that.
Then I definitely have to behave.
Wow, we are so alike, it's scary.
Oh my gosh, this is terrifying. Okay, so No Man's Sky dropped a big update, the Atlas Rises update, and the most surprising thing to come out of it was multiplayer ? What has
Wasn't
happened?
the original release multiplayer question
Oh,
mark?
just behave. Oh dear, we get along so well. So a lot of changes have been happening in No Man's Sky. Atlas Rises is the third large patch that they have released. It's got 30 hours of extra story content. You've got portals, which improves transport between planets. The graphics have been improved. A lot about the game has been improved. And now you can have up to 16 people near you, and they appear as like little orbs. So you don't actually get to see them. They can't influence your world. So it's kind of like hanging out. It's like Discord in No Man's Sky.
So ghost buddies.
Ghost buddies, yeah. So you can jump in and you could be
Can't
ghost
eat the
buddies,
ghost
and you
chips,
go,
bro.
I saw this thing, and then somebody else will be able to see the same thing, but you can't, you can't hand people stuff, and you can't trade stuff with people, and those types of things. But you find animals together, and all sorts of wonderful things. So it is a huge update, and I just wanted to sort of bring it up because I guess No Man's Sky had No Man's Sky issues. They are now a verb in that you will not No Man's Sky this.
Which says
So-
a lot about said issues.
Which says a lot, but like we talked about last week with worst games, it doesn't make it necessarily a bad game, just potentially a very bad release. Well, it was a bad release for No Man's Sky.
I was
So
actually
if-
talking about this earlier this week, and
Oh, yeah?
if, as much as I hate this as a practice that happens in gaming, if that had come out as the early access version of No Man's Sky, it's like, this isn't the full build, it's just a playable kind of early beta, see what you think. People would be like, this is really cool. Here's all the features we need. But it's like, no, here's the game. This is totally for
100%
realsies
agree.
out, guys.
I almost think that Hello Games should go back
90%
into...
I said those exact words.
I think that Hello Games should go back into Steam and actually change the release date for the product as August 2017. Because we're now finally seeing what resembles, what was originally promised, I think. Which I don't think I've ever fallen on the side that No Man's Sky is a bad game. I think you totally nailed it by saying that it was a bad release. That was exactly where I felt.
Our recollection.
Yeah, my memory
we
says
have
that.
actual audio recording.
Compared to what was promised,
I think
yes. But as a game on its own, without those expectations surrounding it, that's a whole other conversation. So
That backpedal, yo, that was amazing. You should be a linebacker.
Yeah,
Holy
I know, right?
shit.
You run backwards. You run faster backwards than you do forwards, Luke.
sure.
That was impressive.
So I know that I can probably answer for Jam and I because I said to Jam, "There's this update. It's great." And Jamie's response was, "I'm free this afternoon. Do you want to play?" So that answers my question as to whether or not Jam would jump back in.
I just want to get lost in space. I love it.
Yeah, Lost in Space together, sort
Yay.
of.
Ish.
Ish. How about you guys? Did you pick up No Man's Sky? Guess Luke.
No, I did. I was ridiculously excited for No Man's Sky. I'd been following it for 12 months, and then it came out, and then I felt real betrayed by that. No, that's cruel. That's mean. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. But I do feel like it just promised a lot, and I get a lot of that was the marketing push behind it, and that wasn't the studio. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I've been curious to go back since the first major update that hit, I think 6 months after the release. I just haven't because,
Games.
the game news cycle moves on. It's like, I still got to go back and play the Witcher DLC, but when do I have, 100 hours to do that?
Oh,
Dude,
God, I still have
you
to
do.
finish The Witcher.
Yeah, you do.
I
you
put
do, Jam.
200 hours into, the original game, and it's like, when do I have time for the DLC?
Jeez,
Get on
yeah.
that.
Went cards, so I got to go back.
Yeah, you
Oh
do.
God, he's just this. Oh my God, 2 Lukes. Oh my God.
Too many
God,
Lukes
you're
on the dance
twinsies.
floor.
Yeah.
You said the
I'm not
G
sure you
word.
guys will be able to exist in the same reality at the same time in this game.
Wait, we haven't seen them in the same room yet.
Yeah. Does one of you just
That's
have a
very
moustache? Because then you're parallel
Which
universe.
one's the evil timeline?
Yeah.
Look, I'm definitely the evil twin.
Holy shit, that makes me look
But
awesome.
would you play No Man's Sky?
I think the bar I have set is once it has proper multiplayer, I will jump back in.
Oh, okay.
And probably multiplayer for you is you can interact in each
I
other's
can
worlds.
interact with other people and not see floaty orbs that may or may not be other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
I'd have
Journey.
to agree with that one.
Yeah, it's not Journey or Flower. You should just you shouldn't be able to beep or bop next to each other. You should actually be able to interact. Yeah. How about you, Ollie?
I'm the same.
Yep.
I loved the idea of No Man's Sky. I liked the look of it. I actually enjoyed playing it, but it was a little too repetitive for me. But apparently the update has added a lot of shit. The updates that they've gone through have added a lot of stuff. So that will hopefully remedy some of that. And the portals sound good. For me, it would, like actual Cool Luke said, you would have to have proper
which one's Cool
multiplayer.
Luke?
Oh, that's a silly
That's
question.
not even a question, Mimo. Seriously.
Seriously, fuck you guys.
It would need proper multiplayer for me. It would need to have, I can interact and go, hey, I'm going to help you mine this thing, or I'm going to help you build over here, or let's fly our spaceships next to each other. That's what I want.
And wave
I
out
can
the
live
windows.
with janky
Hello.
planet generation if we can both see the same shitty planet and be like, man, this planet sucks. Do you want to go over here instead? Yeah, all right. That's what I
I went
want.
to this
Real
planet
life.
and
Shared
all I got was this
disappointment.
slazzy t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Shared
See, I think-
disappointment is what I want.
I was lucky. The things that appealed to me from the marketing from the beginning are the things that were delivered. And in that, I got a lot of enjoyment out of my 30 or 40 hours playing. But I'm so glad to see everything they've done to work on this, and I can't wait to check it all out and report back because it's exciting.
Well, you may be surprised
see
to
the new
learn that I
biomes.
actually have a lower bar than these guys when it comes to whether I jump back in or not. I would actually consider it, But the barrier for me is just the other stuff happening at the moment in the industry, because this is now fast approaching that time of year where there's a lot of things competing for attention. So, I'm going to be playing Yakuza Kiwami next, followed by, DLC for Uncharted 4. Then we've got... you got
to finish Hellblade first, dude.
That too. Yeah. I'm not expecting that'll take too long, fortunately.
And Undertale. Don't forget Undertale.
Yeah, no, it's not. Let's not even worry about that.
True.
Undertale might come out on the Switch. I'll get it on that. So
you're gonna play it again.
You heard it here first, folks.
Possibly,
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, but I mean, we're getting up to that point of year where there's just a lot of cool stuff, and I am down for some new Colossus when that comes out, because for no reason in particular, I feel like killing a lot of Nazis at the moment, so that'll be good fun. Looking forward to that.
Oh, then you've got Wolfenstein. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yep.
Duh.
Yeah. Way to be political in a
caught up.
video game show. Good job. No, I'm looking forward to forcing Jam to tolerate my existence in No Man's Sky again.
It's fine, man. We'll be cruising. I'll be like, oh no, I left that solar system, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. See you. Bye.
Bye.
I'm off to weed this other planet.
I found the coolest. Oh, you're not here.
Yeah. All Jam needs is for No Man's Sky to have an option where you can actually weed the plants, and she'll be down. She will love that.
Give me one of those activities where I just switch my brain off. Mm-hmm. That's why I love it. I just wander. Oh, look at that. But I've decided my mission is to find a porg in No Man's Sky, the new little critter in the Star Wars
Porg is king. Porg is the
so
new it.
They're like
I
a
want one.
hamster duck.
We need to invent them. The splicing needs to begin now. I want one immediately.
So that's maybe 40% of my reason for diving back into No Man's Sky. I'm gonna find a porg.
No.
There has to be one. There is I found a pineapple rhinoceros. And remember those cow things that had faces that were just the letter V that looked like they belonged on Sesame Street?
Oh, that was
Bizarro
weird.
Land.
Oh god.
Yeah. No Man's Sky can make porg. I believe in it.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it'll get there at some point for somebody in a random generated world somewhere. It'll be cool. We'll see pictures of that pop up and someone will be famous. That's going to be a thing. Yeah. Well, anyway, we should probably wrap things up there, because we are getting to that time. But thank you very much for coming on and hanging out with us tonight, Luke. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, other Luke. Anytime.
Awesome. Yeah, I love...
Can we keep new Luke?
Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
Can we keep him?
Upgrade our model.
I was waiting for it. No, we could do a tag team thing, but I don't know. It's not like he's got a busy job to get back to that actually provides us pleasure later in the year or anything like that.
It's fine. Again, November. Once that happens, I'm all yours.
Oh, okay. We've got that on record now.
You've got your expiration date, old Luke.
Yeah, you got a couple of months, Luke. Make the most of it.
Awesome. Maybe we'll just work it out one day that one of us will appear and you won't actually know who it is. That'd be sensational. All right.
God,
well, anyway,
this really is the worst timeline.
Yeah, that's it. This is the darkest timeline. All right. Well, Luke, did you want to plug anything before we sort of wrap things up tonight? What would you like people to sort of have their focus on at the moment as far as all things PAX and stuff you've got going on?
One thing I will flag, you probably have super limited time to do this, but panel submission deadlines close Friday the 18th. Mm-hmm. Which is, if you're listening to it, it's like now. As soon as this podcast ends, just go submit a panel, please.
Do it.
But apart from that, come to PAX. It's going to be awesome.
Hell yes.
Yes.
We will all be there, absolutely. And I'm assuming that, Luke, you'll be sort of running around like a mad one, sort of hidden behind various curtains and
you'll
panels.
see me, but probably for no longer than 3 seconds at a time.
Sweet. Nice.
I'll fist bump you on the way past.
Yeah.
What's up?
Just be careful where you aim, because he'll be going at such a speed that you might end up knocking his clock off or something. I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah, please don't clothesline me at PAX.
Yeah.
Oh, challenge accepted.
Swift end to the show right there, yeah.
I mean, last year, no pressure, but Yug did start his own religion, so...
He did not start a religion. That was
PAX
a
Oz
sweet
started a
roll-based religion.
Yeah, but
He
PAX
cannot
Oz
claim
started a
that.
religion, so, the sweet roll religion was the best.
Oh,
Okay,
good
so
God.
you're saying I need to bring more Dogma to PAX. Dogma, queues, and bathrooms. I'm all over
Yes.
Holy shit. All right.
That's the title of the episode.
Queues and bathrooms. Done. All right. That one's locked in. All right. Well, anyway, if you want to ask Luke any questions or check out anything PAX related, what is the address that they can find that on at the moment, Luke?
Best way to reach me is going to be email luke@readpop.com.au, hit me up on Twitter @LGLancaster, and check out my comic called The Bad Guys on Webtoons. You should also do that. That's a thing I can plug.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I finished reading it now.
Oh my god! This is why you were so quiet while we were recording, right?
Basically, that's what I do.
Live research rolling out right here. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, as ever, if you want to get in touch with us as well, you can hit us up, mail@partyloaded.com. We are also on Facebook. You can check us out on Twitter @partyloadedshow. Got a bunch of new stuff up on YouTube, so check that out. And there is a ton of PAX content there from last year, which you should look at as well. And if you want to see the absolute exact moment that Memo's spirit just dissipates during that Uno game, it's on there somewhere. And it's very, very entertaining.
Some say if you pause the video, you can see the soul escape from her body.
That's it. YouTube.com/channelendgame is where you'll find all that. All right. Well, anyway, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Luke, for coming on. Thanks, guys, for doing the usual bit. And we will be back again same time next week. But for now, good night, everybody.
Bye.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.